entertaining. Can you explain the result today?
Yeah, it was just one of those freak results. The lads are obviously bitterly disappointed. We've been doing so well last 10 games. We've been on a fantastic run, and I think we let ourselves down a little bit today.
Why do you think that the players performed how they did today?
Well, like I said, the lads have been putting a hell of a shift in since the new gaffer's been here. It's been non-stop. Lads have done really well and worked hard. I think possibly it caught up with them a little bit today, possibly a little bit of complacency. We got a great result on Monday, going up there and beating them 3-0. Possibly a little bit of complacency, but I guarantee you that we had a little chat after the game that won't happen again.
So how do you feel about Tuesday's game? Are you confident of getting a positive result?
Absolutely. We're the form side in the non-league at the minute, I think, to be quite honest with you. We were always going to get a bad result, but we were just disappointed in the way that it went for the last half an hour. Definitely confident going down there. I thought we started really well when we played there. When the game got called off at half time, started really well. They're an organised side, but I tell you what, the boys are going to go home and recharge, and we've got to be up for a battle on Tuesday.
As captain, did your pride take a bit of a battering today?
It always does, yeah. I mean, even if we concede one goal, you go home and you sit and you think about it, but then obviously like 5, that hasn't happened to me many times, and it's happened a couple of times this season. So, you go home and you sort of look yourself in the mirror and go over what went wrong, really.
And what do you think the team need to do different on Tuesday night?
I think that obviously the effort's there. We just need to get back to basics a little bit and get back to what won us 8 games.
Now you're back in after a few games out. Obviously there were some games called off, so it meant your ban sort of went on a bit longer than perhaps you wanted it to. How was it your first game back today?
Yeah, I felt it in my lungs a bit, as you do, because you can't. Match fitness is one thing. You can do as much running as you like on the side of the pitch, but there's nothing like playing games. But obviously very disappointed with the result. But it's. I think we're looking in good shape going into the playoffs. So.
And you're going to be okay for Tuesday, fitness-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, feel good. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Putting it right, as we say.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah.
Why do you think your team surrendered the unbeaten run so easily today?
I think obviously going 2 down early on never helps, does it? But then we lost all our shape, we lost all our discipline. Players started to do what they wanted to do to try and get back in the game, which is the worst thing you can do, because if you do that, generally that's what happens. They had a gamble up, stopped doing what was asked of them, and to be fair to them, just desperately trying to get back in the game. But by gambling in anything, if you lose your gamble, you can get done 4, 5, 6, and that's what happened today. And
how are the players after that?
A bit shell shocked. I think we all are a little bit shell shocked. Obviously, we didn't see that coming. I thought Basingstoke were a good side. Got 2-0 up, showed a lot of experience, put the balls in right areas. We couldn't get at them all afternoon. I mean, we didn't really get at them all afternoon. I thought they defended very well. I thought they won a lot more second ball, and basically a lot better team than us on the day.
And how much of a test of character will this be for your team?
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, this group of players previously has won. I think it was 5 or 6 on the trot, and then they went on to lose 5 or 6 on the trot. So hopefully, I mean, my point was I was disappointed with the way. Never disappointed to lose if the other team deserved to win. But no team should ever lose 5-0, and that's the thing. Once you lose 5, it's so easy to lose confidence. And so hopefully, we have learnt from that for future, that some days it's not going to be your day. You lose 2-0 and you go home disappointed, but you should never lose 5. So hopefully, it hasn't dampened confidence too much, because again, that's the reason why we lost 5, because people stopped doing what was asked of them. They had a gamble. They thought they'd stay up front rather than come back and mark from corner. That sort of situation. So no, hopefully, we've had a fantastic run. It had to end sometime, but really disappointed to get beat 5. Should never happen.
Do you think it could impact the rest of the season?
Yeah, of course it could. Potentially, of course it could. I mean, confidence is everything in football. From being a real confident side, it's how we respond. we've been down to Salisbury, and Salisbury are a good team. They've obviously beaten Welling today, so we've got a game on our hands here, and what we can't do is surrender the game like we did today.
Do you think that's the best possible group of players to bounce back on Tuesday night?
What, the lads that started?
Well, the lads, the squad.
It's very difficult. We're new to it. We've been in 11 days. It's our first setback. I'd like to think through pride, they bounce back and give it a go, and they have given it a go with the 11 previous games. So there's no reason to say, they're going to not turn up and give it a go. So we'll see what we get when we get down there.
Okay, Chris, your team lost 5-0 today. Did you see that one coming?
No, I mean obviously not. I wouldn't have. We'd have done something about it, but very, very disappointed. Everybody's disappointed. No one's proud of that, and it does happen, unfortunately.
And why do you think your team didn't perform today?
Well, maybe we got a little bit too cocky, too full of ourselves. We'd just gone on Monday and got a great result at Chelmsford. And sometimes you can get too confident, but then once you get a shock and get behind, you can't drag yourself out of that. And as I say, today we just looked like we had no energy, which was very surprising.
What did you say to your team afterwards on the pitch?
Well, we said, I can't dig them out and start having a row with them, because the last 12 games they've been magnificent, haven't they? This is one of those things that does happen. But all right, maybe a bad day at the office, 2-0. 5 really isn't good enough. But what do we do? Do we start feeling sorry for ourselves, or do they man up now and look forward to the game Tuesday?
Now, you started with Danny Webb at left back, and you brought in Simpemba back in. Why did you go for those tactics today?
Well, obviously we missed Tom Winter, and Tom gives us a bit of balance. And we knew they were going to play three big fellas up top, and we thought we could cope with it that way. I mean, maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong, but that they went and scored 5, so we just got to move on from that.
And in hindsight, do you think you should have tinkered with a winning team?
No, we couldn't, could we? Because Tom Winter was it, and that did mess us up. I possibly would have stuck with it, really, but again, we were more wary of them as well in that respect. With Tom out, he gives us a bit of balance, doesn't he? He can play left back, he can play left to central defence. So we did lose that little bit of balance, and that's what we've been about. We've been lucky to get a bit of balance. Tomo possibly could have come in, but his knee's not right, so it sort of pulled us all over the show, really.
And how is Tom Winter? Is he ill?
He's got tonsillitis. He's not been very well. He wasn't there training Thursday, and he didn't feel right today. So, fingers crossed he'll be all right in a couple of days, and hopefully Tomo's knee will settle down.
And how's Barry Cogan?
As I say, he's gone off to hospital. It looks like it's a dislocated shoulder, but obviously we'll wait and see when we hear.
What's the best way to manage your players after a heavy defeat?
Well, not slag them off and dig them out, really. As I say, the idea now is for them to go away, have a think about it, feel sorry, but then on Sunday start preparing for Tuesday. Or what do? Do they mope, feel sorry for themselves? I have no time for people who want to sulk and feel sorry for themselves. You're going to get beat sometimes. Nobody goes through games and winning every game. It's disappointing the way we went down today. There's no doubt about that. But the best way for them to prepare is maybe feel sorry for themselves for a little while, get their heads up, and then move on to the next game. That's all.
Looking forward to the next game against Salisbury. Can your team bounce back? It's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough game. We're on the back of the 12 unbeaten, but why shouldn't they? Everyone has a bad game, but they've not had a real bad game in 12 games, so that's fairly consistent, really. Bearing in mind when we came, they'd lost 5 on the trot. Why shouldn't they? But I have no doubt that they can do. And saying that, in the middle of that run, we could get beat by them. There's no, they've just beaten Welling today 2-0, so they're a good side. They're full time, but we've got to make sure that doesn't happen and keep getting results.
Would you describe Tuesday as a must-win game in order to finish second?
it'll make it more difficult if we don't. But I mean, again, we've got to just go and do as well as we can. We've not really aimed to get anywhere. We've always, you're going to try and win as many games, and we've said that. We finish second, we finish third, fourth, or whatever we finish. We've got to try and win games and not worry about individual games. Like today, we can't harp on just this game.
And finally, do you envisage making any changes for Tuesday night?
There possibly will be. Again, it all depends on Tomo if he's fit. Tom Winter if he's fit. So again, we have to. No good making rash decisions now and getting a bit too emotional. We've got to think that we've got the rest of the season. And there's a lot of sides that would love to be in our position, but so we've got to just keep our calm and move on really.
It's certainly not all doom and gloom, is it? Promotion is still on the cards.
Oh yeah, I mean, blimey. Imagine if we hadn't won 8 and drawn 3. I mean, it would have been doom and gloom, wouldn't it, today? Because we'd have been halfway out down the table. So whatever happens, they've done brilliant. The players. I mean, pity it was at home, and the supporters have been brilliant with us, haven't they? I mean, even today, they were not happy, but they don't want to see their team lose. But I'm sure they're still behind the lads, and the lads appreciate that.
That's great. Well, thanks ever so much, Chris.
You're welcome. Cheers.